the next chapter, which you've titled Bitcoin Mining and the Energy Industry. This seems to be like usually kind of a good entry point for people that don't understand or appreciate Bitcoin, is like if you just talk about the ramifications that it has on the energy sector.
Right.
How do you approach this topic with no coiners?
Yeah, so like you said, the Bitcoin finance savings orange pill is, to me, almost totally different than the mining, energy grids, energy production sort of pill, so to speak.
No.
And again, each chapter, what's a core conservative value, and how can I frame Bitcoin in a way that appeals to that and understands that? Energy production, right? Conservatives are in favor of energy production of nuclear, coal, oil and gas, like anything. We want to produce as much energy as possible as a human species, because energy is life. I put a chart in there. The human life expectancy and global energy production, they move tit for tat. As humans produce more energy, we can live longer. We can have a higher quality and quantity of life. If you imagine a dead body, it has no energy, right? Energy is life. So point one, we want to produce as much energy as possible. All right. Well, how can we do that? Well, we have various resources, but if you are a power company and you're an energy supplier, you have an issue. You have a supply and demand mismatch. If you have this facility that can produce X amount of power at maximum capacity, a lot of the times you're not producing, you're at your maximum capacity, right? And so you're wasting resources. You're literally wasting energy. And you have this problem where you need to guess what will demand be, because I need a facility that's big enough to handle maximum stress on the grid. Either, it's mid-August right now. This is actually one of those times, like late summer when it's really hot outside, around 5 to 7 p.m. Everybody comes home from work. They're doing laundry, they're cooking, they're cleaning. Maybe there's a heat wave, they're blasting AC. You need enough energy for those moments. But for a lot of the year, you don't have that, right? And so what's going to fill that gap, right? It's Bitcoin miners. You need someone to come in and buy all of the excess production at any point in time, but also when demand is at its peak during these times of the year, or maybe in the winter, if there's a blizzard and everybody's blasting their heat, they need to be able to step back and stop consuming and not be any negative consequences. So other large consumers of power are hospitals and grocery stores, and they don't have that same degree of flexibility in terms of turning consumption on and off, because I don't think a children's hospital is what you want to turn off during a blizzard, right? That's probably something you want to keep powered up. And also in terms of geographic flexibility, right? So you need someone who can consume large quantities of energy and also go to the source, right? And a lot of energy production doesn't happen in the middle of downtown Manhattan. It happens, a couple hundred miles away, and the energy is transported in. So Bitcoin miners, they can go directly to the source and you don't have this transportation problem. So the fact that they can consume large quantities of energy at any time, anywhere, and also turn off at any time and not really have any negative consequences. And they can do so like programmatically, because each machine consumes like a fungible amount of energy. So you can turn exactly 10% of your fleet off in this one pod of your mining operation and know you're giving back X amount of gigawatts or megawatts to the grid. It's perfectly mathematical, and it fits that supply and demand mismatch that energy producers so desperately need to fill, because they don't want to just be producing a bunch of energy that's not getting consuming. They're wasting money and wasting energy, but they also don't want to underproduce during times when it's most needed. And so Bitcoin miners, they fill that gap. And an analogy I use in the book to really hammer this point home is if I ran a pizza store and you said, hey, make as many pizzas as you can, like ball out, like all day long, make as much as you can. I'll buy everything. But when actual real paying customers come in, I'm not going to take all the pizza from them and they leave unhappy, right? I'll step back and let them buy the pizzas, but you make as much as you can and I'll buy it all. Like me as the owner of the pizza restaurant, I'm thrilled to hear that. Like I know I'm not going to just overproduce and have a bunch of waste. And like I know I'll actually have a client. And so this is the service that Bitcoin miners provide energy grids.
Wow, excellently said. And yeah, very underappreciated. This just hasn't dawned on people that how significant Bitcoin will be from this sort of load balancing energy buyer of both first and last resort, depending on the context.
Right.
It's just a very powerful feature for the energy sector.
Right. And there's huge coalition there between, sort of conservatives that are pro energy and Bitcoin miners, and especially this being an election year, I felt like that's a match made in heaven, and to sort of lock arms politically for miners and energy producers, I think is very necessary.
Yeah, well said. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click here to find more just like it, and here to find our most recent episode. Also, make sure to like this video to help shine light on the corruption of money, and be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected.